Try selling that to Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward as their primes are passing them by. So that's the plan. That's the Ken Carman plan.
Myles Garrett just signed a lifetime contract.
And he's going to hate it here 3 weeks into next year.
Oh, I'm really concerned that he hates it here.
You say that, but you're going to be pretty upset.
Then you got to give me something to sell me on Malik Willis, Anthony. You have to give me an argument.
I've watched him play in games that matter, and he's been pretty good.
When did you watch him play in games that matter?
This year, he came in for Jordan Love this year against the Bears and played pretty damn well.
He started one game for Jordan Love.
And he came in relief in another game.
He started one game, and he came in relief. Great. So he came in a game.
So nobody should pick up Malik Willis, judging by your scouting.
That's not what I'm saying.
So then who does?
That's not what I'm saying.
You're not making any sense.
But your argument sucks.
So
that's the point I'm making.
So how do the Browns get better quarterbacks?
So, hey, Malik Willis.
What is Ken Carman's argument?
Malik Willis.
You just told me the Browns are going to win 4 or 5 games with Shedeur next year.
I just want to make sure.
How do they get better quarterback?
Anthony wants to hand him money.
Notice he's not answering.
No, because I'm going to make sure that everybody knows this.
Notice he's calling my idea dumb. His idea is sticking with Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson, and the worst quarterback in modern history statistically.
Because everything I'm arguing
that's a good idea. You guys heard it.
Because Anthony
Carman said that's a good idea.
Because Anthony's obsessed with bots on the internet that he's arguing with.
What started as a routine Browns quarterback debate exploded into shouting, finger-pointing, and a studio seconds away from total chaos. Voices were raised, chairs shifted, and for a moment, football completely disappeared. Today, we break down the moment Ken Carman and Anthony Lima nearly came to blows live on 92.3 The Fan, all over Shedeur Sanders versus Malik Willis. The 2025 Cleveland Browns season ended not with celebration, but with questions. After a 5-12 record, the franchise entered a brutal offseason debate. Who is truly the answer under center? Sanders, a 5th-round rookie, took over late in the year and showed flashes, though not without inconsistency. Advanced stats put him near the bottom of qualifying quarterbacks in efficiency, raising eyebrows around the league. Meanwhile, discussion about veteran options flared, and one controversial name bubbled up repeatedly: Malik Willis. A player with limited starts but strong traits, Willis became a talking point on Cleveland airwaves. This tension created a powder keg of opinion and the perfect storm for what would unfold next. Enter Cleveland's morning airwaves, the most competitive sports talk slot in town. Listeners tune in for analysis, banter, heated takes, and sometimes fireworks. The topic was once again the Browns' QB room.
He came in 4 games. He came in 3 in spot duty, coming in for Jordan Love. So you come into games that they're getting ready for other quarterbacks and that they haven't seen a lot of you. So he's obviously played well enough. We can give him $50 million to the guy. Invest in him.
This is why you scout. This is why you have teams that scout.
So, this is why.
No, it isn't. Instead, we pushed a 5th rounder to the top, and he played like the worst quarterback. Played worse than DTR. That's your idea? That's the smart idea Ken Carman came up with?
I want to go for I want to invest in somebody more worthwhile. You're giving me no argument for Malik Willis other than basically you hate Shedeur Sanders. That's the only argument you give me. Shedeur Sanders is so bad I can't have because you just want to have arguments with bots on the internet.
He's bad just because he's backing up Jordan Love.
You just want him because his name isn't Shedeur Sanders. That's it. It's that simple.
Well, I've seen him play better than Shedeur. I think everybody would agree with that.
I don't believe you've actually seen him play.
Anybody with eyes has seen him play, and he's been better than Shedeur.
Ken Carman, seasoned host with strong opinions on how the Browns should approach quarterback development and fairness towards Sanders. Anthony Lima, co-host, not afraid to push explosive takes, including that Willis could be better than Sanders and that the Browns might consider moving past their young signal caller. What was supposed to be a football conversation escalated rapidly, not because of analytical divergence, but because ego and emotion took center stage. The tension built slowly. Then suddenly, it erupted. As Lima doubled down on his claim that Willis should be considered over Sanders, Ken Carman pushed back, and the dialogue turned personal. Words like "your argument sucks" and insistence that someone hates Sanders weren't about analysis anymore, they were about identity and pride. At one point, Carman challenged Lima to justify his picks and opinions. Lima fired back that Ken had no real counter-argument, just a knee-jerk defense of the Browns' incumbent QB. Studio producers had to physically intervene to keep the discussion from escalating from verbal to physical. That's not hyperbole. It was an all-hands moment to avert a brawl. What made this unique wasn't just the heat. It was how deeply fan identity and player futures had been dragged into an argument that should have been about football strategy. To understand the intensity, you need context. Shedeur Sanders entered the NFL in 2025 as a draft slide story expected to go much higher, then falling to round 5. That alone created controversy. Some saw his fall as proof that NFL evaluators knew more than social media hype. Others viewed the slide as injustice born from spoiled media narratives. Fans and analysts were split, and the Browns' decision to play him late in the season amplified the tension. Sanders' early playing results were mixed, successful enough to win games, but inconsistent enough to fuel criticism. Some analysts publicly wondered if the Browns were ruining his development. Others, like Carman at different points, argued the team owed him a fair shot. No wonder talk radio turned this into personal territory. It reflects how fans and pundits have polarized around Sanders. The fight wasn't about stats. It was about beliefs. It was about identity. It was about what you think Cleveland owes to a young player or to the direction of this franchise. Lima's position, Willis shows traits that could be better than what the Browns currently have. If Sanders isn't the answer, why not be bold and try something else? This line of thought struck deep nerves with many Cleveland fans who wanted someone to believe in the young QB's potential. Carman's position. No matter the flaws, Sanders deserves a fair evaluation. Hating on him is counterproductive. This view reflects a fan base that spent a decade wanting stability at quarterback. The clash of ideas became a clash of values. The aftermath of the fight spread beyond the studio. Clips circulated on social media, fans picked sides, and national NFL commentators weighed in. Many viewers said the fight was a microcosm of the Browns' QB debate, loud, emotional, unclear, and unresolved. Online forums lit up with commentary, from Browns loyalists defending Sanders to critics saying his draft slide proved he wasn't the long-term answer. Reddit threads exploded with takeouts, memes, and debates about whether Sanders truly had NFL starter potential. Some argued criticism was just the nature of draft hype backlash. Others saw it as a real gap between expectation and reality. This wasn't just radio banter anymore, it was a community war. The stadium franchise itself hasn't made it any easier. The Browns' QB room heading into 2026 could include Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, and others, a crowded list with no clear leader. Draft options remain limited with picks outside the top 5, and the team may be hesitant to trade up without certainty. Analysts and insiders stressed that the team may be trending toward letting Sanders run with it in 2026 if they can't land a high-end prospect. Every week brings new uncertainty, creating an emotional backdrop for debates like the Carman-Lima clash. Is this fight emblematic of a larger issue? Yes, it's the pressure cooker of modern NFL fandom, where every decision is debated passionately, sometimes without enough context. This moment in the studio reveals fans want clarity at quarterback, analysts want credibility in picking winners, media personalities want engagement and strong takes, but when does debate stop being healthy and start being personal? That's the real question behind the noise. At the end of the day, football debates are, and always will be, heated. The Browns' quarterback situation isn't going to resolve overnight. Analysts will continue to disagree. Fans will continue to react emotionally. But this one radio moment showed that sometimes the spectacle overshadows the subject. This fight wasn't just about Shedeur Willis or draft strategy. It was about how much this city, this fan base, and this team's future means to everyone listening. As the offseason unfolds and decisions loom, free agency, the draft, coaching hires, roster construction, one thing is certain, Cleveland's QB debate isn't over. Whether Shedeur Sanders emerges as the answer, or the Browns pivot to someone like Malik Willis, or a new prospect entirely, the conversation will only grow louder. And as history shows, where passionate fans care, strong opinions will follow. For now, the fight on 92.3 The Fan remains a defining moment in the ongoing story of the Cleveland Browns quarterback saga.